All right, been stripping panels. She's pretty much got everything off the outer skin now, with the except, well, I guess the cowl's coming out, but that's inner skins. This looks good in here. A little sandblasting, that'll clean right out. I was able to straighten out this nonsense over here, although I think I am gonna separate this panel just so I can work this little kink out here, and this edge in here is just set in a little bit from the beating it took with a hammer. But again, everything looks pretty good in there. No big deals there. Been stripping this thing around. Got the leading edges of the quarter panels off. Got a little bit of love needed in here. Not too bad, you know. That'll be fine. Just gotta patch that up, be good. Everything else was pretty good. These little things here, where the quarter panel goes up underneath this, and then gets attached to the rocker. The other one I tried to bend and manipulate and screw around with, and ultimately this one I just cut off and re-welded it. This took me about a quarter of the time. So, you know, I've been stripping this down. This is a good look at what a convertible looks like in the rear. I know there's not a lot of, I looked and was struggling to find really good images of what this inner structure looks like. And, you know, they tied, and these things are really built in the rear. They tied the whole quarter panel structure to the wheel tubs, outer, and then on the inner tubs, they tied, you know, the back filler spacer and all that stuff. So this thing is really tied off to the wheel tub wells pretty severely. Lots of spot welds, lots of spot welds, drilling spot welds. Same thing over here. Yeah, this one I had to manipulate a little bit. I got a little hammer for the air hammer coming. I've got to work that edge back out flat. Not quite happy with that yet. But this side was good. Rockers still look great. No issues at all with the rockers. Those look like they're going to clean up very nice. You know, this tomorrow I'm going to start stripping out the trunk floor. Get that out. Oh, I put a jack in there, there was a little ding, little dent here, low section on that rear filler panel brace. The previous owner had some planks across it and some weight on it, and then that kind of pushed it down a little bit. But I'm hoping that I can just push that back up, relieve the pressure, get the tension out of it, and it'll come right back into it. Once I get the tail section off and everything, I'll pull this last piece of the back filler panel off. But I didn't want to get too into that until I could get right on top of it good. Yeah, this is interesting. Look at this. I mean, so you can see that when somebody replaced or half-assed replaced this outer wheel tub, they didn't clock it properly because this is too far down. So the whole thing was supposed to be clocked this way a little bit, counterclockwise. And obviously they had trouble getting the quarter panel to fit up. So naturally, they cut it, beat the hell out of it until everything fit. Yeah, I don't know. I just, yeah. Yeah, it's okay, you know, that's what you like to do. That's not the way I was taught. But anyway, so now you kind of see why a lot of this has to come out. It's just too stove up and wonky. But you can, you know, they put you can see, new panel. There's a sticker. Then they kind of just half-assed it, cut the old one off here, laid the new one underneath it, and then just welded on. So, yeah, good work if you can get it, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's not cool. Not cool. Not cool. Lots of spot welds. This is the bit I've been having the most luck with. And this is it's an end mill, effectively, with a little point in the center of it. And I've tried a bunch of different things. If I don't have to save the panel behind it, then I've just used a step drill and just knock right through. But if I'm saving the panel behind it, then this is working out the best. Cuts pretty quick. It didn't take too long to do it. It didn't, I don't know. It seemed to work well. I am lubricating the tip a little bit with some compound, some almost like tap magic, but it's a paste. What else? Yeah, again, this side. They didn't quite have to beat the living daylights out of this one as bad, but you know, still not good. And well, you can tell it's this is where the wheel is. Yeah, nice. So yeah, like I said, just spent a little time up here today, kind of getting some things prepped. And tomorrow I'm going to drop the trunk floor. I'm going to cut it all the way up into here, ahead of the torque box. So I'll separate the floor out ahead of the torque box in here, and then take that whole rear section, put it on the jig, and then pick the car up off it. That's my plan. And then I'm hoping that I can just, you know, I can hang on to that, and then I'll have some reference measurements for the factory frame under there. And that is still all factory. It's just rotten in the front, the frame rails. If the frame rails weren't so bad, I'd probably only be into mini tubs on this thing, and I'd try to save the rest of it. But by the time you start ripping and tearing and trying to get the frame rails in right, it's like pulling a string on a sweater. But everything's looking good. I can't complain so far. It's exactly what I expected. So again, this is a good look at the structure. Now the gutters here are interesting. They come down, they line up on this inside edge here, and they follow this arc pretty closely. Then they go under this panel here. So they go over this, under this, wrap around, and then tie into this. This is actually part of the interior panel here. Same panel. So that's different. You know, I guess you'd be in a world of hurt if this was rotten, but it's not, so we're good. Anyway, yeah, that's about it for tonight. I'm gonna hang it up here, go get some dinner, relax, and then hit it again in the morning. So we'll see what happens. All right, good morning. I continue on with stripping off the old panels that we're not going to keep. Little warning here, Dad, if you're watching this, don't panic. Just go into plan. Just take it easy. No big deal. All right, here we go. Yeah, well, working on pulling the upper cowl. Got to get down to the firewall. Kind of working my way down and back now. Cut the floor out. No surprises there. The spot right in the back over here where you can see just right where the torque boxes mount. That's pretty notorious for rust holes in the rocker panels, but again, these are great, so I'm very pleased about that. Back floor section's out. Haven't started working on the inner tubs yet, but those will come next. Got a lot of stuff to free up and clean up, so I'm kind of planning on starting at the front and working my way back. Now, the reason I want to bring you in right now is I was talking to my buddy Randy, and he's recently done a 68 Camaro about this brace right here that sits behind the upper cowl. I wasn't sure if that was to stay or go or what the deal was with that, so he says it's got to stay, which kind of sucks because, well, that upper cowl was pretty on there. So now I'm going to go through and just try to rescue that bracket, get it all spot welds out. Now, an interesting thing I did find, and I haven't seen much about this either, on the original cowl, there was like a little piece of 1/8 inch channel iron here, or probably 11 gauge, that they had in between the two pieces of cowl and up against the back of that brace. Very rugged little piece in there. So I'm just curious if the new panel that I have coming from AMD will have that. So just something to watch out for. Anyway, gonna keep pulling that out, work my way down through here, clean this all up, and work my way down the side of the rocker panels and clean all that up. Basically just get this thing ready. My next step will be, after everything's off that's coming off, which I'm pretty close now, but once I get it all cleaned up, I'm gonna sit this on a body cart, roll it outside, and have the whole thing sandblasted. That way I'm starting clean. Now, one spot I did notice, I do have to do a little patch in here. There's one little hole there, but that's, again, where they all, whatever happens on all of them. But that's a really simple little fix. I can make a nice little patch for that, cut it out, butt weld it, get it all set back in with 11 gauge, or I don't know, I'll check that. It's not quite 11 gauge, it's probably 16. Anyway, that's it for now. Yeah, it's getting exciting. Hopefully, pretty soon I'll be done stripping. Hopefully I'll make good progress today. So we'll see what happens. Talk to you later. Okay, we got the firewall removed, upper cowl removed, upper cowl brace cleaned up. All that looks good. The amazing the stuff that comes out of these. I've seen tons of acorns, about 12 pounds of nuts and bolts, razor blades coming out of the rocker panels, which, you know, that makes you wonder. Yeah, so I'm getting this freed up. Next step is I'm going to start taking the floor remnants off the sides of the rocker panels. You want to see what a cross-cut section of the floor plan looks like. This is what it is. This is the seat back brace. These are the convertible braces that I'm not going to be using. Seat back, and then you get back into here and your torque box, floor pan going up. Again, more acorns, you know, good stuff. So we'll get that cleaned up. So let's talk about body panels for a second. I was in a situation, right? And I was thinking, well, I hear, I'm looking between OER and AMD, Auto Metal Direct. And I'm looking around and I'm like, well, everybody says the AMD stuff's better, but then, you know, some stuff is the same. And, you know, John on Vinyl Village Garage did a great little segment on frame rails, one from OER and one from AMD. Compared them head to head. They were the exact same part, even had the same stickers and same part number. So, you know, I was thinking, all right, I'm just going to go with OER because they have everything and, you know, is what it is. And it's a little cheaper. I know the floor pans on AMD are a little more accurate, but whatever. So I end up looking at getting ready to place my order with OER, and come to find out the trunk pan is back ordered. You know, in this post-COVID world we live in, I guess that shouldn't be a shock to anybody. What was shocking is they were saying 6 to 8 months before they would get 1967 trunk pans in. So I'm like, well, that ain't gonna work. So I kicked back to AMD. Now, I really wanted to get all the panels from the same place, or from the same brand, and that way, you know, you're not running into little differences here and there. Unfortunately, AMD did a great job on the floor pan, trunk pan, all the way up through. But then I had to stop because I really wanted to use their firewall, but they didn't have one that had a heater delete option. So you'd have to buy the regular one, heal in the heater panel and all that. And I'm like, well, screw it. I'll get the firewall from OER. So far I've got AMD trunk pan, AMD floor pan, and I'm kind of working my way forward. And with the OER firewall. But then the upper cowl, had to look at that. Well, upper cowl was back ordered on OER. So got the upper cowl coming from AMD. Now, unfortunately, AMD does not do full quarter panels for a 67 Firebird. They do skins. But as you can see, I'm doing the full panels here. I've got everything taken back and, one little patch to do there, but once that's done, everything will, and of course that inner and outer wheel tubs are coming out. But so I ended up with all of the external panels, trunk, rear pan, quarter panels, and all of that from OER, Classic Industries. So this will be a living experiment to see just how well these different panels go together with the other company panels. So of course the doors I have are fine. They're gonna just reuse. I'm just gonna reuse those, and I've already got a hood, and the fenders are good. So I'm really just looking at what I have to do for these rear quarters, the trunk deck, and the filler panels, rear panel, and all of that. So I tried to stay as much as I could in the floor area with AMD, the braces and all of that, while at the same time, outer panels are OER. So this ought to be a nightmare. Anyway, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Just figured I'd update you on the whole panel saga. But if I wanted to get a trunk pan within the next, 8 to 10 months, I was going to have to do something a little different. So we're going to give it a go, see how bad it is. This will be informative for you, I'm sure. But yeah, next stop here, I'm just going to start working my way back on both these rocker panels, cleaning up the floor, getting that ready to be received. Body panels are on order. They'll probably, another 3-4 weeks before I see all of that. But it's coming along. And then after I get down through the rocker panels, then we're going to head right up, take out the inner panels here, clean up these mounts, get the inner wheel wells out, get ready for the Detroit Speed mini tubs for the inner panels. This is a mess. You can see what was done in here before, but I'm hoping the joint between the mini tubs, the inner and outer wheel tubs, is still the factory original, and I believe it is, because it has the factory beat down of the top flange. That's what they had to do to clear the convertible top. It's apparently a thing, but if I can save that flange, get that right, then I'll know how to line up my inner tubs to that. And then once that's squared away, I'll be able to go back, get the mini tubs in it once the floor is all done and all of that. And then then I'll be able to take the outer tubs off in reference to that. It's a lot of ifs there. Hopefully that all works, but I've taken measurements. I've taken every measurement I can, and I'm got to remove these mounts, move this, pull this out, take that, and then clean it up, and then you have to cut it off a little bit because the mini tubs clog it up a little. This one up here is a little critical because of the mounts for the whole convertible top. And again, I'm going to clean all this up. I have bolted in bracing for this, and there's 4 spot welds down through here. If I can get those drilled out, cut it away in here. I should be able to relocate this thing perfectly between these two the bolt holes and this reference point here. So I'm kind of hoping that all goes back in nice on the new mini tubs whenever I get to that. But that could be a while. Yeah, that's about it right now. I'll bring you back when I have something cool to show you. All right, Mike here again. You can lodge your garage. So I pretty much got you. You guys think you're lucky. Taking out a floor is always fun. Try taking out 2 floors. So old floor was down here. You can see right here, old floor, and then they welded in a new patch panel up here, which was just awesome. But that's to be expected. It's not too bad. But over here, I don't know what the hell was going on here. There was places there was a 1/2 inch of weld in here. It was just horrifying. I still got to clean up some stuff up there in the corner. Just, yeah, that was a long pull. So yeah, I got as far as the seat brace tonight. That'd be about it for today. Got some stuff I got to take care of. So yeah, I'm gonna clean up the shop. Getting a snowstorm tomorrow, so gotta get the plow truck in here and make sure everything is nice and dry when I get ready to plow. So here we go. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention before we go. Here's the problem with the 1 floor and 2 floor. My first sign of rocker weakness. This is where the old floor was, the new floor, old floor, and right in that gap in between, there was a few little pinholes in here. So once this is sandblasted, I'll know how deep that is or how bad it is, and we'll, cut out a little patch here and take care of that and make it like new. But other than that, rockers still look amazing. Very happy with those. So anyway, that's it.